Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're well. So, I want to talk to you about toxic relationships and what it actually is, it's the equivalent of. Okay? It's the equivalent of prison if you're with the wrong person. Don't do that. Don't freaking do that. Mm. So, my little doohickey here decided that it wants to restart while I need it. So, we're going to wing it. Okay, so what does prison have to do with a toxic relationship? Everything. And we're going to talk about it. When you're with the wrong person, all right? When you're with the wrong person, your freedom is taken away. Your ability to choose is taken away. Who you are as a person is taken away. So your freedom, your personality, everything that makes you you is slowly but surely taken. Things that you love to do are taken away. Joys, things that make you excited are taken away. Peace and joy, taken away. You are under a regiment that you must obey, a regime that you must obey. These are rules and regulations that you will follow, because if you do not, there will be a price to pay. Does that not sound like prison to you? So a prison is a facility where you are penalized for breaking the law, right? And you were served a sentence, you have to follow that sentence, and as a result of being in prison, you are under a certain kind of regime, right? You have to follow a schedule every single day. You cannot get up and do whatever you want to do the way you want to do it, because that freedom was taken. All right? That freedom was taken from you. So no more of that. No more doing what you want when you want. And a toxic relationship is the same way. So when your freedom is taken in prison, when you get up, you'll be told when to get up, when to clean your cell, when they're going to be checking the cell for anything contraband or anything in there that's not supposed to be in there. These are when meals are going to be, and you can't deviate from that. This is when you're going to have breakfast. This is when you're going to have lunch. This is when you're going to have dinner. And, this is when you'll be out in the yard. This is how long you'll be out in the yard. This is what you will do and not do. Okay? You will follow the rules. If you do not follow the rules and you decide, I'm going to do what I want to do the way I want to do it, you will be jumped on, potentially, end up in, what is it called? Solitary confinement. Some of your privileges may be taken away because you decided, I'm making the rules. I don't care what the warden said. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's not going to fly in prison, okay? So when you're with a toxic person, it's the same thing. Your freedoms, your rights are being taken away. You shut down who you are to maintain peace, because that person loves to fight. They get an orgasm off of fighting and arguing and being petty and juvenile. That's what gets them off, okay? So you shut down who you are. You don't put your opinions in there. You just kind of shut down, diminish. You basically turn off your candle. The candle that makes you you, the spark that makes you you, you basically unlight yourself. You snuff out the candle that is you. Because if you don't, there's hell to pay with this demon that you're involved with, engaged to, married to, have children with, whatever, all the above, whatever the case is. Everything about you that makes you you will be taken away, attacked, belittled, insulted. There's nothing about that so-called connection that is going to benefit you, because the individual who is in control of you or is trying to be in control of you wants to control every aspect of you. They can't control themselves. They can't control their brain damage. They can't control their manipulation tactics. They can't control nothing about themselves, but they got to control everybody else. Okay? Which makes no sense. People who tell other people what to do usually have more knowledge than them, more training, more expertise, if you will. But a toxic ass person doesn't have anything to offer except drama, hell, and damnation. But this is how things are going to go. Okay? Like if you remember the stand-up with Eddie Murphy. Lillian cannot use the phone. Okay? Same principle. I'm going to put a list on the refrigerator, and I'm going to make a list of everything I expect you to do every day, what I expect to eat, when the kids are supposed to have their bath time, what the kids will eat, not eat, how they dress, how they don't dress, how they're going to be punished. Everything is going to be dominated by the warden, and the toxic ass person, who is usually a narcissist, has to control the entire house. If you don't have children, they're going to do everything to control you. So you shut down who you are. You diminish your candle. You take your candlelight away. And you tiptoe on eggshells, trying to not get in trouble. Trying to keep the peace. Same thing in a prison. You stay to yourself. You keep your mouth shut. You don't come in there expressing your opinion, because people may or may not want to hear your opinion. So you keep it to yourself, and you fly under the radar because you don't want to be in trouble and have the spotlight on you. And now your life as you knew it is going to be hell and damnation because the warden got pissed off, and now you're going to be in the hole for 2 weeks or whatever the case. So you just kind of fly under the radar and mind your own business. In a toxic relationship, you try to fly under the radar, but when you got somebody nitpicking at you and trying to pick fights on purpose, that's impossible. So you stay quiet. And when you hang with friends, if you're even permitted to, your friends know something is wrong. They know you're not your usual self. They know something is wrong. They know. They can tell. You're not laughing like you usually do. You're not joking like you usually do. You have completely shut down because the warden expects it. And instead of getting rid of this person, they have made you to where you can't even defend yourself anymore because they whittled away your self-love. They whittled away your protection, your desire to protect yourself from danger. Okay? They cut at it. Like somebody who has a knife and they're carving something out of wood. They're making an animal out of wood. They carve away, take away, take away. Well, that's what the narc is doing to you. Take away, carving more until that block of wood doesn't resemble itself anymore. It is a itty bitty. It doesn't resemble what it looked like in the beginning. And with you, it's going to be smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Because that's the goal. To make you feel as small as they feel about themselves. It's no different than being incarcerated. Your rights are gone. Your freedoms are gone. These are the rules. Shut up. Do the rules and shut your pie hole. You will have 3 showers a week. You will have visitors on Sunday. Unless you act a fool, then that'll be taken. You will tap dance to our show. And you will do it what we tell you to do, the way we tell you to do it. Whether you like it or not is not the point. No freedom for you. So being with a toxic person is equivalent to being in prison without parole for the rest of your life. And you're innocent. You didn't do anything wrong. Except meet and get involved with the wrong person. So now you have to be incarcerated. And the only person who can set you free is you. You're the only person who can set yourself free. And in a lot of traumatic situations, the victim feels shame and embarrassment I don't want my parents to know we're getting a divorce. What will my friends think? What will my church think? What will all my, my family, friends, everybody, what will they all think? We haven't even been married that long. But you know what? You got to nix that. Get rid of that, because a marriage is a promise. I got your back through thick and thin. You got my back through thick and thin. We are a partnership, not a dictatorship. We're a partnership, okay? We're supposed to be loyal to each other because we agreed that we would be. And if you're with a toxic person, they lied their ass off and they're never going to be faithful to you. I don't care what they said. The shame and embarrassment should not be on you if you are not the narcissist and you are not the toxic person. The shame and embarrassment should be on them because they tricked and manipulated everybody, except in the cases where your family said, oh, I don't like that person. I know you do, and you're in love and y'all supposed to get married, but I don't think it's a good idea. But I mean, I can't tell you what to do. You grow. You can only do what you can do. You can only do what you can do. And you cannot hold up a marriage by yourself. You can't. I tried. It doesn't work. It crashes and burns because you're not supposed to hold it up by yourself. You didn't say vows to yourself. But if you got with a toxic person, you did say vows to yourself. Because, I told you this before, titles mean nothing to a narcissist. The title of boyfriend or girlfriend, fiance, husband or wife, means nothing. They're just titles. Just titles, just a fancy title so they can brag and say, oh yeah, I'm married. Somebody thought enough of me to marry me. But those titles don't mean jack shit because they're going to be cheating on you the whole time. And because the title is just a promise, an empty ass promise that they made in front of God and everybody. That's why when people say things like, oh, marriage is what is it? Oh, what is it called? Promise before God, and it's sanctified, and it's this and that. And I'm like, oh, please. Not if you're with a toxic person, it isn't. You value your vows. You value what you said. They don't. I have a friend who has a friend who I'm pretty sure is a narc. Cheats like crazy on his wife. And when women say, are you married? He said, no, but my wife is. Do you see my point? Do you see my point? They're not married. They said those words because they sounded good. Till death do you part. Oh, please. They don't mean that. They don't mean that. They don't mean that. It's all pomp and circumstance to them. It's not a vow. It's not a promise. It's not we're on the same team and we got each other's back from now until and not up. No. And being with the wrong person is being in prison. You are locked up until you decide, I'm done. I can't worry about who's upset about it. I can't worry about being embarrassed. I can't trip off of that. I can't trip off of, I told y'all not to get married, but you insisted. I can't trip off of that. If that's what I'm going to hear, that's what I'll just man up or woman up, and I'll just have to hear those words because I cannot live like this anymore. I'm a bird in a cage, and I'm falling apart. My feathers are falling out. I have no more beauty. I'm falling apart. And I'm done. I have to save myself before I die in this space. And if I don't die physically, I will die psychologically, spiritually, emotionally. All of my lees will be gone. So, I got to get out of here. If I get chewed, or I told you so, or given that look, y'all getting a divorce? So what? So what? You're in prison. It is up to you to free yourself. And truth be told, You're in prison even if you're not married. You're still in prison because you're still locked into this toxic person. Okay? You're still locked up in prison even if you're not married. You can free yourself. It's going to take work. It's going to take effort. It's going to take saving money. You do not tell that toxic ass person you're leaving. Especially if you're a woman, because toxic men can lose their mind when they're losing control. Next thing you know, you're done. They eliminate you, or the children, or both, all of y'all. Okay? So, you got to do what you got to do to save yourself. You're locked up without parole until you decide that you're done. You decide. You make that decision. Okay? And your friends, if they're truly in your corner, they're not going to say, well, I don't know why you was in that situation in the first place. I told you when you first met that person that they weren't any good for you. And blah, 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 blah. Somebody who's in your corner, who truly loves you and truly has your back, is going to probably be surprised, because the public persona that toxic people do, everybody's impressed with that because they don't know that's a costume, okay? They don't know that's a costume. And you hide what's going on because you don't want people to know what's really going on. But once you get past all that and you realize my freedom is more important than keeping it secret, people that got your back are going to be like, you're getting a divorce? Why? I thought you guys were a great couple. Now's the time to tell the truth. Okay? They will have your back. They're not going to say, well, I could have told you from the start that that person wasn't good for you. I knew when I looked at them that they weren't worth two pennies you could rub together. No. No, somebody that cares about you is going to be like, okay, what are you going to do? I mean, what's your game plan? What are you going to do? Are you looking for a new place to live? How far have you gone with your planning? They're not going to chew you out, and they're just not going to do it if they've got your back and they truly care about you. Okay? So, don't tell that person that you're leaving. They may lose their minds, even though women are emotional. Women are being unalived almost every week, and this crap's been going on for month after month after month after month. Don't sit here and tell me that women are emotional, because that's a cockamamie bullshit. Women are so emotional. Oh, really? Why are you unaliving them? That's not emotional? Why do you go apeshit when she wants to leave you? Or you find out that she wants to leave you, or she does leave you, and you go crazy and want to stalk her because we're emotional? Sit your toxic ass down somewhere. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that bullshit. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. So, you got to do what you got to do. Release yourself from prison. Okay? Release yourself from prison. This thing, what's your deal? Why are you doing this? And why is there no... Okay. Oh, Lord. This thing is... Wow. All right. It's joined us now. Bear with me. A prison. A building in which people are legally held as punishment for a crime they have committed or while awaiting trial. Okay. Let's talk about what happens in prison, which I'm sure you guys already know. Because this is what happens in relationships, manipulationships too. Tell me this don't sound like a toxic relationship. Life in prison can be harsh, isolating, and traumatizing. Some things that happen in prison include, let me see, I had a better outline than that, but we'll roll with this one. Cell conditions, emotions, depression, anger, stress, mental torture, work, you're often expected to work, such as cooking, cleaning, helping with laundry, lack of privacy. First night, you might receive a first night pack which contains items like tea, milk, and sugar. Phone calls, inmates are usually given a PIN number for making phone calls. You may or may not be allowed to use your phone or your cell phone. People who are sick in the head will try to tell you when you can and cannot use your cell phone. Medical care. Inmates can see a doctor or nurse and discuss any medications they're taking. Reading materials, and you may be eventually released, etc., etc. But we all know that violence happens, right? Inmates fighting with their fists, homemade weapons, prison sexual assault, or in some extreme cases, murder. Does this or does this not happen in toxic relationships? I'm going to tell you something else, because I know someone who has a relative that works in a prison. He's a CO. Sometimes the COs are paid to look the other way. They're paid to look the other way. So that's the first thing I ask when someone gets unalived in prison. I think, or they were like, one of them was beat to death not long ago. And I thought, where were the COs when all this is happening? Maybe they were paid to look somewhere else. They are just as shady as the inmates, more often than not. And the individuals that I have met who work in prisons, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of them they're not right either. A couple of them that I know that work in a prison are narcissists. Because they love the drama, they love the unpredictability, they love the control, they love it. So you will feel a lot of narcissists in law enforcement, period. Prison, medical field, law enforcement, judges, lawyers, teachers, professors in college, people who deliberately choose careers where they're in control of somebody else's life. Prison is no different. Control freaks. Okay? So, free yourself. Get the hell out of there. Don't worry about shame and embarrassment. Forget it. Transfer that to the individual who needs to hold that title, which is the narcissist, the toxic person. Okay? You don't have to be in prison the rest of your life. And once you get a taste of freedom, baby, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. But you got to get there first. Okay? Y'all take care. Much love. Bye.